Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It feels so good to say that, and I'm so grateful for everyone that has already subscribed. I know it's not a lot of people, but to me, even one person showing me love and support means so much, and I've had such amazing feedback from my family and friends, and I'm just so excited to progress and see where this takes me. But I definitely feel like YouTube is my place, hence why I've been so excited to already get my next video out. So today I've decided to do a chit chat, sort of get ready with me, and a makeup tutorial. And I really wanted to talk about some girly stuff like dating and being South Asian, and my views on marriage and dating and all of that girly pop stuff. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I've already prepped my skin. I'm going to go in with the Plouise base and carve out my brows. I don't really like filling in my brows too much because I just feel like it looks very heavy on me. So I like to leave my brows as they are, but I like to carve them out to give them to make them look as identical as possible. I know they're meant to be sisters, not twins, or is it cousins, not twins? One of them. But that's what I go in with, and I just go in with this random brush that I got from Cult Beauty years and years ago. So guys, I have been single for the past sort of, I'd say 3-4 years, and I'll be honest, like my last relationship was actually close to marriage, and I learned a lot about myself, and in that relationship a lot happened. Not as in the relationship was a bit rocky and bumpy, but I lost my granddad, I lost my mum, and I became a foster carer very quickly. And obviously, as you can imagine, these things have an effect and they do take a toll, and I feel like everything happens for a reason. But I'm just glad that I didn't end up with what I thought I wanted. And honestly speaking, I honestly just needed to be alone, and I think that relationship ending and actually not progressing to marriage was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. Like, don't get me wrong, I was just so young. I was 20 years old, and I've been through a lot in life. Like, I've probably experienced 80 years worth of life lessons in such a short amount of time. And I might sound nervous when I'm talking about this because I feel like I've not spoken about this openly, and it's taking me back to some things that I've just not spoken about in a very long time. But you know, this is all a part of building a community. Anyway, the best thing that could ever happen to me, also I'm blending out my Plouise base with this Plouise brush actually, but the best thing that ever happened to me was that relationship ending, because I realised with everything that I've been through in life, I relied on people a lot emotionally. Like, my happiness depended on a relationship, and it depended on having a social life and friendship. Like, that was my distraction. And when that relationship ended, I just feel like I just feel like, what's the right word to use, that I wasn't really good at dealing with problems and situations. And actually I used people, not in a horrible way, like used them, but I used people as a distraction and to actually sort of not have to deal with my own issues. Anyway, after that relationship ended, I realised I've got a lot of issues actually within myself. And don't get me wrong, I've always been such a lovely person, and I've tried not to take anything out on anybody, but I had to heal from a lot of traumas in my childhood, especially with what I'd been through with my dad and losing my mum. And I really just had to sit with myself and feel everything, and I don't think I would have been able to do that if I was in a relationship. Anyway, I think I'm in a really good place now, like mentally and physically, where I'm able to actually reflect and acknowledge my behaviours, my emotions, and I am really independent. Like, I don't rely on nobody to give me that happiness and satisfaction of life, and my happiness does not depend on attention or love or anything got to do with the opposite sex really. And since then I've actually not really dated, I'll be honest. I'm just going to blend out my eyelids with this beauty blender. I've not really actively dated, I've not put myself out there. Like I think the year before that I went on 2 dates, and then last year I literally went on 1 date, and that literally just goes to show where I'm at with dating life. But in these past 4 years I have learned so much about myself. I have learned what my love languages are, I have learned what makes me happy, I have learned what I enjoy, I have developed new hobbies, a new personality, a new lifestyle, and I've realised like what I thought I wanted is not what I want, and I'm just so glad that Allah didn't answer some of my du'as and he got me to where I am today. I'm just going to go in with the Patrick Tar eyeshadow. It's called the Major Dimension. It doesn't say what palette it is, but it's the Major Dimension, and I think I got the neutral palette, that's what it said online. But yeah, I'm really in a place now where I am content with being on my own, and I think I'm a bit too content to the point where I'm just so happy being in this bubble and being independent and not actually, like, when I go out I dress up for myself. And I was someone who really cared about what people think, and that's something I acknowledged in myself whilst being single, and I've realised like I've come such a long way, whereas no one's opinion affects me. I'm not talking about men here, I'm talking about external validation, like from others as well. Like I think I relied on other people to sort of give me that, whereas now I'm confident in my own skin, my own body, the way I think, all of this stuff. Like I just feel like I've worked so hard on myself, and I really know myself. Like I know when I'm upset, I know what's made me upset, I'm really in tune with my body, and I'm actually really self-aware of my behaviours and my thought process. And I'm just using this shade over here to my crease. Guys, I've never done a makeup tutorial before, so I don't know how to use these really good professional words about what someone's doing, and I don't class myself as someone who knows a lot about makeup. But anyway guys, if I could give anyone one advice, it would definitely be to just sit with yourself. Like if I could go back, I would avoid thinking about marriage and about being with someone at such a young age. Not that my life has consisted of being with someone, but obviously being South Asian, and especially the eldest daughter, a lot of pressure was put on me about getting married. My marriage was actually arranged twice, once when I was 14 and once when I was 16. And I think the reason I really wanted to get married at such a young age was because I just wanted to have that freedom to choose my husband, because on 2 different occasions it was nearly chosen for me. And thanks to God for protecting me from like settling, because even now, now I definitely feel like I'm ready for marriage, but if you'd asked me about a year ago, or even 6 months ago actually, definitely not. But I feel like I'm now emotionally mature to be able to commit to somebody and actually not just see marriage as something like you have to do, but actually be committed and start go through different phases of life with another person. I also feel like it's so important to be confident in your own skin, because I feel like when you're in a relationship or you're speaking to someone, and you're not confident, I feel like little things can knock your confidence. And I just feel like, for example, I've met so many people who are insecure, and it makes me so sad because they've not had that chance to work on themselves, and they've never had that emotional intelligence to be able to reflect and think about what they like and what they don't like. So many people are in relationships and they're not content and not happy, and they're actually insecure. And I think the more you work on yourself, the better you will be at attracting someone that's really good for you, and the better you will be at actually reading the red flags and reading the signs. So now that my eyelids are done, I am going to go, I should have done this before, I am going to go in with the YSL Touché Éclat primer. I've been using this primer for years, guys, and I don't know, I have a bit of a mixed opinion on it. I used to use the Smashbox primer, and it was so good, but they discontinued it in Boots. I don't know if Smashbox is still around, but if you guys have any suggestions on any primers that are good and that work for you, please send them my way, because I really need one. Anyway guys, I have really worked on myself to the point where I am content physically and mentally, and I'm actually ready for that next chapter of my life. Like, I'm ready to settle down and meet somebody. But the thing is, like, I thought the more I work on myself, the better I will attract. And don't get me wrong, like, I've been attracting like the sort of men that I would have dreamt to attract when I was younger, and probably 18-year-old me would be so happy and screaming like the sort of men that I'm attracting. But I'm not going to lie, the more I've worked on myself, the pickier, I wouldn't say pickier, but the more clever I've gotten. Like, I know exactly what I want, and because I'm so connected to God and my gut, I feel like I'll just know when it comes. I've also been very, very scared to date because, without going into too much detail, like, my life was on the news and the talk of the city at one point with what happened to my mum, and I just felt like I don't want people know my business, and I live in a very small city where people know everything, and I've actually been very scared to date as well because of my situation, like not having parents around me, looking after my siblings. I've just felt like, I wouldn't say trust issues, but I'm very protective with who I bring home, like, to my siblings, because we've been through enough in life. I just feel like I don't want to bring the wrong person, and I don't want to bring anyone that's going to disrupt anything. So I'm just going to go in with this Charlotte Tilbury colour corrector. It is in the shade Medium Moyen, and it's honestly the best thing ever. So I put this under my foundation, so I put it under my eyes just before my foundation and concealer. Just blend that in. You can just blend this out with your fingers, and as you can see, it's literally gotten rid of like the shadows underneath my eyes. You can literally wear this with no makeup as well. It's such a lightweight product. And then I'm going to go in with the MAC Strobe Dewy Skin Tint in the shade Medium 2. I love this. It's literally like skin, and I'm such a skin tint girl. I used to use the Mercier one, and then my friend introduced me to this, and it's just like in the middle of medium to heavy coverage. Like, you can build it up, and it just gives your skin that like sun-kissed glow, as you can see. And I'm just blending that in with a normal buffer brush that I got from, again, Cult Beauty. I think I have attachment issues to like beauty products. Like, I just stick to what works until someone who I really trust with makeup tells me to try something new. But yeah, guys, it's so difficult like dating in the Asian community and being South Asian, because I feel like there are so many do's and don'ts. But I think now I'm at that age where I'm emotionally mature and like physically mature, and I'm aware on what to do and what not to do. And I'll be honest, like, I don't really like reply to DMs, and I think I just don't feel like my husband's in my DMs, so I just don't reply to DMs. But one thing I've started doing is I've started to actually tell myself that I need to start being open to love and being open to that next chapter of my life, because the more I feel like I'm telling myself I'm content and I'm happy, the more I'm sort of delaying it. And I know everything happens with Allah's will, but at the end of the day, I do need to start tying my camel now. So I'm actually going to make the conscious effort this year to get to know people. And one thing I've realised that I don't like about dating is, like, I hate going out for dinner with someone that's not my husband, because I just have this fear, like, first of all, I went on a date last year and I looked like, I really hold myself like a very good standard when I step out, you know what I mean? And like, everyone was looking at this man, and I was just thinking to myself, like, I've literally come to get to know him, and it's making me look like I'm his wife, and I'm a good representation of a wife, and I just feel like not everybody deserves that. So I've actually started, like, okay, I'm lying, I haven't started doing nothing, but the next man I date the approach is going to be that we speak on text or like communicate through the phone for a few weeks at least till I fully get to know him. Because I was actually speaking to someone about a month ago, and like, things were going really well, and we were speaking for like a week. When I say things are going really well, I mean the conversation was going really well. And then we started to speak about where we see ourselves in the future, and I asked him and he asked me, and really quickly we both realised, like, we're not for each other, like, we definitely want different things. And I just feel like that was such a good way of like speaking and getting to know somebody, because we got the small talk out the way. Like, I didn't have to go for dinner, I didn't have to waste my time, he didn't have to waste his time, and we just know that, like, and I think it taught me like to just be open and honest about what I want and not actually shy away. And I think it was so much easier to do that over text because you don't know someone and you've never met them in person, and it was so easy to do that. I feel like sometimes in person you're a bit reserved and you're a bit held back because obviously you want to make a good impression on your first meeting or whatever. But I just think that's definitely an approach I'm going to use, and I think the best thing to do is like to put your cards out all on the table all at once. And it's not like, hey, let's get married next week, but it's like, hey, this is where I'm at in life, this is where I see myself going. Are you on the same journey? Are you on the same path? If not, then you're not meant to be. And I just think it just saves so much time, because I definitely, with my busy schedule, I don't want to waste my time going somewhere and nothing come out of it. And I know like that will still happen because that's a whole part of dating, like you have to go through that. Also guys, I'm using the Tarte Shake Tape Concealer in the shade Light Medium. I also want to talk about how hard it is to actually date Muslim men, like without sounding really like bad and judgmental. I just think like you have to let people know that you're not having fun and like you actually want to get married. And I just think, what sort of world do we live in where we have to tell Muslim men that we're looking for marriage? I just can't believe what the world's come to. I am going to contour my face with the Patrick Tar Duo Bronzer and Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo in She's Sculpted. One thing I love about Patrick Tar's makeup is everything's like she's sculpted, she's baked, and it's just so girly pops. So I'm just going to put a generous amount on my brush, give it a little swirl, activate that product and warm it up on the brush a little bit, and then put some on the back of my hand because we don't want to go full in. I also like to let my concealer dry because I just feel like it's a better blend. And then I'm just going to just press that into my skin. I'm not going to move it, I'm just going to press and keep pressing because I want it to be in a certain area of my face. But yeah guys, I can't believe we've come to a world where we have to let Muslim men know that we're looking for marriage, and I think that's very disheartening. But I'm actually open to like being with someone who's not a Muslim. Okay, not being with someone that's not a Muslim, because I actually reverted my friend last year, and obviously when I met her she was a non-Muslim, and like as you do in friendships you get to know each other and that's how friendships form. And like little did I know like I would be reverting her like a few years later. But I was just thinking like, if that's happened to my friend, if I had that experience, like I should be open to actually speaking to non-Muslim men as well, because they actually might be open to becoming Muslim. And I think that's very, very important to me actually. I know it's very important to me because I do class myself as a very religious person, and one thing that's helped me get through my mum's death is my religion, I'll be honest, like nothing else. And even till this day, like religion helps me get through so much in life. And then I am just going to use my beauty blender and blend out my concealer. One thing about the concealer, you shouldn't move it, like just keep bouncing your beauty blender on where you've placed your concealer, and I think just drag it down your nose, especially if you have redness, or it just gives you that good little carve. It carves it out for when you contour your nose, and then just press it up and then just keep blending. But as you can see guys, because I placed my concealer and let it dry for a while, it's such an easy blend. Like I'm just pressing my beauty blender into my under eye, and my concealer's not moving, and it's actually stayed in the place that I placed my concealer in the first place. And then do the same with the nose. Okay, one thing I would recommend is I do normally blend out the concealer on my forehead, my nose, because I don't like it to dry on there, because I feel like that's very difficult to blend. But under your eye I think it's easy to blend it out once you let it set for a while, a few minutes. I am then going to go in with the Charlotte Tilbury cream blusher. I think it's called the Magic Wand actually, in the shade Pinkgasm. And then I'm just going to put on a bit on the back of my hand like so, and then I'm just going to grab a blusher brush and just warm it up on my skin at the back of my hand like so. I think I learned, who did I learn this from? I forgot his name, but he's a really good makeup artist. I think it's Makeup by no, I don't think so, it's someone else. I don't know if it was Ariel actually. And then once I've warmed that up and I've generously applied it to my brush, I'm going to just smile and press it in. Again, with cream products, guys, I've noticed like you have a better application when you press it in, because you don't want to move your bronzer and your concealer, because it can end up giving you that cakey look. And just keep pressing that in like so, and then do the same on the other side. You want to make sure it's evenly distributed on the brush as well for a better application. Who do I think I am? Like, I'm not even a makeup artist. I don't know nothing about makeup. I've literally just copied every single makeup artist online that I could find, and then do the same on the other side. Guys, once I find a routine, I do switch up my I think I switch my makeup routine annually. I do stick to like the basics, but once I find a good routine, I just keep doing it. I'm not someone who will and then a bit on my chin. I'm not someone who will experiment with makeup like before an event. Like, I will sit down and do something if I'm not going somewhere, or if I'm having a very chilled like errand day or something. That's when I'll experiment, because you can't really go wrong then. And then I'm going to go in with the same beauty blender and just marinate the blusher and the cream bronzer all in together to get rid of any harsh lines when I set my concealer. I'm then going to go in with the Laura Mercier translucent powder and blow any excess powder off, and then I'm going to go in again with that same beauty blender and get rid of any creases, and then I'm just going to pat that in without disturbing any of the cream blusher. And then I am going to get a clean brush and wipe off any excess powder. I think I've got eyelash over here. So yeah guys, as I was saying, I think I'm open to actually getting to know someone who's a non-Muslim at this point, because I just feel like there is literally no hope with the Muslim men in this day and age, and I just feel like there's a lot of expectations and it's double standards. That's what this is my experience. I'm not trying to judge anybody and say this is how it is. It's just talking from my experience. And also, I really don't see myself. I'm just going to go in with the Patrick Tar with the same bronzer, and just go in with the powder side and just set that bronzer, that cream bronzer, again just tapping, because we don't want to move any cream product that we just placed underneath. But this is not me just generalizing the whole Asian community and Muslim men. It's just from my experience, and I know every single person has different experiences, but I definitely don't even see myself marrying someone who's Pakistani. I just don't feel like Pakistani and South Asian men are my type. I just feel like, I don't know, I have this theory where, do you know, like when you're meant to have something or be with someone, like they're your type, and even though you've never met them, like that's your type, and you just know what race they are and who they are, but you just don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but you just don't know them. But I just feel like I don't think I am meant to be with a Pakistani man. Also, I am going in with this eyeshadow brush and the Patrick Tar bronzer and just contouring my nose. Completely lost my trail of thought then. And then I'm just bringing that to the crease. Guys, I have had a nose tip lift, so I don't really contour my nose. Filler to me is basically like facial contouring, and I think I've realised like I always try to give the illusion that my nose like lifted, and I like that, but I love my natural nose, so I didn't want to get like surgery, so I got a nice little tip lift. I'm then going to go in with the Dior Rosy Glow, and it's in the shade 012 Rosewood. I'm going to go in with the Morphe blusher brush, and again generously get that on my brush. You want to get it on every angle, and then press that in on the area that you applied your blusher. Guys, if I had to choose one makeup product and use it for the rest of my life and I couldn't use anything else, it would definitely be blusher. I actually love blusher. I just think it just gives your skin that healthy glow. And then on the bridge of my nose and on my chin, and then a bit on the temples as well, just to make you look very snatched and sun-kissed. So that is literally my base done. I then go in with the Laura Mercier translucent powder and get the powder puff and just set underneath where I've contoured and put blusher, and then I carve out my nose to just give it that extra snatch. I then get a clean brush and just sort of press that in. I don't dust it off, I just press it in I just feel like it helps your makeup last longer and stay on longer, and definitely around the smile, because I'm a smiler and my makeup always creases around this area. Guys, I've really tried to be very stuck up and unapproachable. Well, I am to men, but to women I just can't help it. I'm such a smiley girly pop. I love to smile at women and be kind, you know. We can be a bit mean to men, it doesn't matter. Don't know if I've already I don't know if I've already done this step. I'm kind of having like memory loss here, but I go in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow gel and just set my brows. So now that the base is done, I am going to go in with the Patrick Tar neutral palette and smoke out my under eye. I'm just going to go in with a small eyeshadow brush like this and pick out this dark brown shade, dust it off and smoke out my under eye a bit. Just think it brings the whole makeup, like eye makeup look together. But yeah guys, I don't put a lot of pressure on myself about dating and being with someone, because like I've mentioned earlier, I'm so content with where I'm at, and I'm someone who, even though I love to control where my life is going, I've never been given the opportunity to actually control what happens in my life. Like, I did not expect to live the life that I've lived in these past 4 or 5 years, but with God's will, this is how it was written, and I have learned so much about myself, and I definitely feel like I'm at the place where I'm ready to be a wife. Like, I've dealt with and healed so much trauma that I feel like was so damaging, especially for another person to come into my life, and I just think it was really unfair to be able to actually carry that with me, and I feel like I've left that where it belongs, and I'm actually ready for this new chapter. And I feel like I needed this time alone for the past 3 years to sit with myself and just feel and heal, because I'm such a big believer of no one deserves to experience your trauma, and I understand people are supposed to be there for you and help you, but I just feel like you need to deal with things that you need to deal with before getting into any friendship or relationship or any aspect of your life, because it is so unfair for others to deal with things that you've been through in the past. For example, if you've not had a father figure there, it's not fair on another man to heal your daddy issues. If you've had if you've been in a toxic relationship, it's not fair on the other person to experience your traumas, and then you saying, oh, it's because I've been cheated on in the past, oh, it's because I've had a toxic relationship. I just think it's unfair to carry that into someone else's life. I think you should deal with everything, sit with it. It is painful and it is very uncomfortable, but I think you need to sit and deal with it, because as much as you deserve the best person and the best version of somebody else, they also deserve the best version of you. And in order for you to become that, you need to reflect and you need to deal and you need to face everything that you've been through. I am just going to curl my lashes. Guys, it is so hard to find the perfect lash curler for my eyes and my eye shape, but I finally found one, and I actually got this from Amazon. All the products that I've used and tools will be linked in the description box down below. I'm going to go in with the Dior Backstage mascara, and I like to look down to avoid getting any mascara residue on my eyelid, especially when it looks so upper. How tight did I want to freaking close this mascara? Anyway, I like to look down when doing my mascara because I just feel like it keeps the eyelid clean, and I hate getting like mascara on my eyelid, especially after I've done my eyeshadow and my base. I also realised I don't like too much going on with my eyes. Like, I don't like heavy mascara, so I go in with like one coat and then another coat just at the top of my lashes, just to make them a bit more longer. I don't like my eyelashes looking like I've got mascara on, if you know, like that heavy mascara look. I like them to look soft. And then on my bottom lash. So once I've done my mascara, I go in with this Clarins waterline pencil. It feels embarrassing showing you this, but this is how small it is. And I actually need to get another one. I feel like Clarins is the best one, and a few of my friends have actually used this and said it's the only one that doesn't smudge or like start running throughout the day, and it stays in place all day. So I just go in and tighten my waterline. I should have done this before my mascara, to be honest, but guys, I feel like if you have hazel or brown, light brown, greeny eyes, tight lining your waterline just gives you that foxy look, and it just makes your eyes pop. Once I've done my eyes, I go in and with the Charlotte Tilbury airbrush flawless setting spray and just spray that all over. Again, I've used this for 5 years and I absolutely love it. I know there's better setting sprays out now, but this is like my Shayla. Also guys, being single for the past 4 years has helped me set boundaries and standards for myself. Something that I never had before, obviously, because I was young and I'm still young, but I think growing up in an abusive household, I think the last thing you do is think about setting boundaries. You're just trying to survive, and especially going through 20 plus years of it. And I think the past 4 years have really helped me to set some standards and boundaries where it's easy to actually date. Like, the reason I'm going on 1 or 2 dates a year is not because there aren't options, it's because I have certain standards. Like, even the way a man approaches me, it says a lot. And I think it's very telling when a man approaches you, or whenever you meet anybody, it's very telling with how the conversation starts or how they approach you. And I think it says a lot about them. So you sort of, when you're in tune with yourself and you've set these standards and boundaries, you're able to acknowledge what's right and what's wrong and what sort of respect that you deserve. And I think you know when it's lust and you know when it's love in the way they approach you. And another thing that I've really learned is how to love myself. Like, when I don't mean like my physical appearance, but how to really love myself from within and be gentle with myself. And I know all of my love languages. I know what makes me happy. I know like what I want more of. I know what I want less of. And I think communication is key. And in the future, like, that's something I struggled with in the past. And self-love is something I was always confident with my self-appearance, but in like letting people cross certain boundaries and all these other things that come up, they all come along with self-love. And there's a saying where how you love yourself is how the world is going to love you. And I realised that people don't want you to love yourself. People want you to be stupid and not have self-awareness so they can treat you however they want. But once you learn to love yourself, the right people will come along and understand every single love language. Because I get this sort of love now from my family, from my friendships, and it's so wholesome, and it's so like, I'm still getting used to it, you know. Like, I know I deserve it, and I know like I've worked so hard to have it in my life and have these sort of people in my life, but it's like a whole new life to me. It's a whole new mindset. So I'm still like, I'm sort of like 1 year old in it, if you know what I mean, like a little baby. And I'm still sort of getting used to and adjusting to the feeling of this. And honestly, it's such a beautiful feeling when you're loved and heard. And I think it's so important to spend time with yourself again. Everything comes down to you. I feel like everything you're looking from outside, it's always within you. And when you find that, you'll find people who add to that and not take away from it. And you won't even have to explain yourself or tell anyone how to love you. I go in with this Primark lip liner. What shade is it in? Toffee. And I just line my lips. And then for the lipstick, I am using Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. This is my favourite lip combo. I do normally add gloss, but I did my makeup on Eid and I realised I shouldn't have put gloss on, even though it still looked good, but I just feel like I'm in my no gloss era. I've been wearing gloss for so many years. I feel like not putting gloss on gives you like that 2000s, 90s look. So once I have done my makeup and it's all put together, I go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Compact Powder. And then I just go in and then just dab it under my eyes. This really makes your pictures come out 10 out of 10, and it gives you that airbrushed look. And I just go in the areas that are a bit more, especially my tea tree, that are oily. Did I say tea tree? In my T-zone area, like, that's how you know, guys, I'm not with it today. And then on the side of my nose. And that is my makeup look complete. This is something that is safe for me, like, if I've got somewhere to go. This is like my full beat, guys. Like, I do normally go in with a highlighter, actually. For highlighter, I use the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Wand in the shade Spotlight. I think it's their only, I think it is actually their only highlighter. I use this little brush. I actually got these brushes that I'm using, I got it from Cult Beauty in like 2020 lockdown times, and I've literally I got it in a set. I need to find it again because I love these brushes. And then I just dab it in. I don't like too much highlighter, but I like a bit of a glow. And then I just dab that on my highest point of my cheekbones. Again, guys, make sure you, with cream products, it's best to rub it at the back of your hand. My hand looks like the my hand currently looks like the ice cream, forgot what it's called because I've not had that for a while. And then just dab it on the highest point of your cheeks and your temples. But make sure that you proper rub your cream products in and generously put them on the brush, because sometimes they can leave like streaks and harsh lines if they're not evenly distributed. And then on the bridge of my nose and a bit on my chin. So yeah, guys, I think I rambled on quite a bit, but the whole point of this, of the topic of dating, is to make sure you really sit with yourself, learn who you are, learn to love yourself. And love is not something you find. No, love is not something you have to chase or look for. I definitely believe it's something that comes to you and it finds you. And I definitely believe it's written, and you just need to do the inner work in order to attract it. And I think it's so much better when you're in a place of self-love, because you know that the other person doesn't owe you anything. They don't owe you, like, they don't need to be a therapist, they don't need to deal with your previous traumas, and you can just, I don't know, like, I'm very, very excited for that next chapter of my life, and I feel like I'm ready for it, and I think it's going to be beautiful because of how much time I've spent with myself. And it's like, my future husband has been out there working on himself, well, I hope, and I've done all the inner work, and it's like two amazing versions of individual people coming together and creating something so beautiful. And I feel like when you have that faith, it'll definitely come. But in the meantime, enjoy the people that you have in your life right now, like your family, your friends. Become a better sister, become a better daughter, become a better friend, and just enjoy the bubble. And because there are going to be times where I look back personally, and I currently have a lovely comfy bed to myself, and I'm able to enjoy my movie nights, watch whatever I want, eat whatever I want, all on my own. And I just think there's going to be a day where I'm not going to be able to do this. Well, I am, but obviously it's not going to be whenever I want, and I'm really, really going to miss it. And even that time with your siblings and your family and your friends, it's going to be so hard. Like, you're going to have to schedule these amazing people into your life. And I'm not saying that when you get married or when you have a romantic partner and that chapter of your life comes, that you forget about the people that are currently here, but it's going to add so much. Like, you just don't know where you're going to live, you don't know what your routine is going to be like. And I think just appreciate the life that you have, and don't feel disheartened by seeing other people getting married and getting into relationships and finding love. Like, just know that the best stories take time. And I am a big believer of that. If you want something big, like, for example, if you want a big dish and you want the most flavoursome dish, it's going to take a while to cook. It's not going to be like a quick fix. And I see that as everything in my life. Like, if I want something that's big and like life-changing, it's going to take time, and I just need to trust the process, trust in Allah. And if anything, just strengthen your relationship with God as well. I feel like when you find that love with him, it's beautiful. And you just know, like, I always say to Allah, like, when this chapter of my life, when I meet my person, I'm just going to know it's from you, because I've spoken to Allah about him so many times, and I've given Allah, like, what the ingredients, like, this is what I want, and I know that he's going to do it for me. So when it happens, I'm just going to know it's him. And I feel like when you have all these other things in your life set up, and you've worked on them and you've invested in them, it's going to feel, you're just going to know how to love, and you're going to know how to receive love and appreciate love. So if I could give you any advice, especially any young girls who watch me, please, please, please learn to sit with yourself. Go to the gym, find a balanced diet that suits your lifestyle, have fun with your girly pops, have fun with your family and friends, and just enjoy it. Love is something that is going to come and it's going to last forever, and when you find it, you want it to happen in the most beautiful, calm, peaceful, like amazing way, and you almost want to live a real life fairy tale. So enjoy the process and don't rush, because life is a journey and good things take time. Thank you so much for watching my makeup tutorial and having a little chit chat with me. I will inshallah see you in the next vlog. I am planning to straight after this video. It's currently Sunday. Tomorrow I am hoping to do a realistic weekly vlog. So inshallah I will see you in the next video. Lots of love, guys.